You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the Clement Manyathela show on this Monday, the 14th of April. Thank you for being with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning and that you had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm wishing you all the best with your plans this week as we get closer and closer to the long weekend. What did you get up to this weekend? I ran the Paris Marathon yesterday and it was amazing. I met my 3:40 target. I finished in 3 hours, 39 minutes, but honestly, I would have loved to beat my last year's London finish of 3 hours, 36 minutes, but I'm still happy with the finish. It was a beautiful marathon. I met some wonderful South Africans who are also here and we're running yesterday. Something that I realized yesterday as I was running, I was actually moved by the love that South Africans have for this country, black and white. Regardless of the nonsense that we have to deal with every day, regardless of people who are still trying to divide us. Many of us actually love our country. And seeing South Africans yesterday running at the Paris Marathon with South African flags, running with their sporting gear in South African colors, it was amazing. I was wearing socks with a South African flag on, and it hit me yesterday how much we love this country. And I wonder if you have your own moments when you are loudly a South African. Is it when you are traveling? Is it when you are attending conferences? Is it when you are here, maybe there at home, doing other things? When do you show your love for this country? Where you want people to know that you are South African and you are proud of being South African. And maybe you can share that with us. Do you own a flag? There's some homes in America where they've got a flag hanging outside their homes. Do you own a South African flag? Do you have clothes that feature a South African flag or anything that resembles this country? Do you have those moments when you are loudly South African like that? Give us a call on 011-883-0702. That's the number to dial. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-17802. But hey, let me do this before I get into trouble, Abel.
The defenders trying to put something together. Matlock gets the cross in. Chiefs have scored. Chiefs have scored with 2 minutes to go. Ashley Dupree. Are they going to the cup final? What a turnaround here. In the closing stages, Kaizer Chiefs have the lead. He can't believe it. The coach is about to burst into tears.
Chiefs, roba. Yo, Roba, 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 roba. Yo way, roba, roba, roba.
Okay, congratulations to Kaiser Chiefs. Don't ever say that I never play you guys songs when you win. Jeez. Kaiser Chiefs, can you believe it? Kaiser Chiefs defeated Mamelodi Sundowns. They defied the odds yesterday at Loftus Stadium, beating Mamelodi Sundowns 2-1. And I kept asking myself, is this the return of Kaiser Chiefs? I mean, it's been a difficult, trophyless decade. Did you watch that game yesterday? What did you think of the boys' performance? Congratulations to Orlando Pirates as well for beating Marumo Gallants 1-0. Now we wait for the all Soweto Nedbank Cup final at Moses Mabhida Stadium. I actually think I need to go to KwaZulu-Natal for this one. I want to see Pirates become the Nedbank champions and retain the cup. How do you think the game is going to go? And will you be going to KZN as well on the 10th of May? Let me know. On the news front, the question we've been asking ourselves throughout this morning is whether it's possible for the VAT increase to be cancelled before the 1st of May. That's the question, really. The Act, as we have said before, allows for a retraction by the Finance Minister. But will the Finance Minister do that? Will Parliament also be able to pass through a bill that actually can reverse that 0.5 percentage VAT hike? The first of the stages of passing this budget is already ticked. That was the fiscal framework that was adopted. What's next is the Divisional Revenue Act, the Appropriations Act, and the revenue laws. And Parliament is still on recess. As I told you guys last week, next sitting that they have is on the 22nd of May. And no National Assembly or National Council of Provinces sitting is scheduled before the 6th of May. So how will the Finance Minister be able to pull off the reversal of the VAT hike before the 1st of May? I hope he does. Many of us do. And how he and Parliament do it, I think is going to be really fascinating. So
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Hey, morning, Clement. I'm glad you did well in the Paris marathon. One day I will join you there. Parity has been restored. There's peace now in South Africa. This small team has just been silenced. I'm happy for Soweto. Soweto is rising again. Rise, Soweto, rise.
Bonjour, Clement. Hoping you're enjoying Paris. I can't blame you for playing Chiefs song. You clearly did not watch the game. Truth is that that second goal they scored was offside. They know as well. They know. Everyone knows that. But of course, us as Sundowns, we're not bitter losers. We're not. That's fine. They need this far more than we do. We've got bigger fish to fry. We've got far bigger fish to cry. TK from Pretoria.
Clement, my South Africanness comes through in my vocation. I have chosen in midlife to change to social work because I really feel that South Africans in general just need a lot of love and care. And I think the best will come out of us when we receive some love and care. This is what's driving me into this profession. And so in my prayer life and in my vocation, that is where I show my love for this country, which has given me so much and which continues to give me so much. Thank you, Jay in Santon.
Hi, good morning, Clement. You are speaking to Mandla Matope, and Tate Mandla Matope in Western Area, Begersdal to be specific. I am so patriotic to my country. It has turned me to be a philanthropist. I love my country. I've got a badge of the South African flag. I have 2 pairs of socks of the South African flag, a dust mask, South African flag, and a scarf of the South African flag. I'm only running short of my underwears for the South African flag. That's my love. I know it's not easy, but I trust we'll make it right. So that's me. Thank you, sir.
I love that. I really do. And it really hit me yesterday that, oh my goodness, there are so many people who love this country, regardless of what we have to deal with. And for me, it was a moment of realizing how happy we are to have a country like ours, a country that is so diverse, but to an extent united, and seeing black and white people embrace this nation like that. You know, it was just so touching to me. I was also wearing my own South African flag socks, if you want to call them that, yesterday. I ran with those at the marathon, and so many people were carrying the South African flag, were wearing, you know, their apparel, sportswear, you know, that is in South African colors and South African flags. It was so touching, and that's why I'm asking you this morning, if you have those moments when you are loudly South Africans, do you own a flag? Do you have a flag in your home? Do you often take your kids to learn about this country? And I think that's sometimes a disservice we do to our children. You know, I have told you before about a friend of Sidi Madia, in fact, who often takes her own nieces and nephews to the Constitutional Court or the Constitution Hill to teach them about this country and where we come from. And I think that is what we are supposed to do. That's what we owe our children. We owe them these stories of the resilience of this country, so that what they hear is not just the negative stuff. And I think it's important for us. So let me know how you are loudly South African. Which other ways do you demonstrate how proud you are to be South Africans? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. Tato, Pelelani, I see your calls. I'll start with you after this break. It's 20 minutes now after 9 o'clock.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
It's 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go straight to your calls on 011-883-0702. Tato, let's start with you in Centurion. Good morning. Go ahead.
Hi, Clement, first-time caller. Good show as always.
Well,
Congratulations, for managing to complete the Paris Marathon. You know, I had a love and hate relationship with Amakot. Hey, yesterday they made me proud. I was over the moon, elated. I don't know what to do. We love this team. We love this team, and nobody's going to separate us from this team. I'm going to witness them lifting this trophy after 9 years of suffering. Ajabuli, the love is cooking, eh? Thank you.
Hey, life is cooking. My brother also went to the stadium yesterday, and he was just so excited. He's the biggest Amakosi fan, and I think I'm going to be joining him in KwaZulu-Natal. Are you going to be joining Tato? I'm going to be going to Moses Mabhida to go watch the final, because I think we're going to retain the cup as Pirates.
Already booked, brother. We are there. Just waiting for them to release the tickets, and then we are there.
Okay. Tato in Centurion, thank you so much for your call. Let's go to Fatima, who is calling us from Melrose Arch. Fatima, good morning. When are you loudly a South African?
Hi, how are you, Clement?
I'm good,
you for
Fatima.
your show.
How are you?
Okay, thank you. Now, I just wanted to say, when we loudly South African is definitely when our teams are playing, when the Bokke are playing and that anthem goes on. And even if we're at home, I get all the kids and nieces and nephews, we rise and we sing that anthem loudly and proudly. God bless Africa, always.
Amazing. Fatima in Melrose Arch, thank you for your call. Pelelani in Protea Glen, Soweto, good morning.
Marimeja, good morning, how are you?
Sure, brother, go ahead.
I'm okay. Marimeja, firstly, let me start with saying I am so happy. Kaizer Chiefs made me happy. My son is turning 10. He has never seen Chiefs play final. And last week, 2 weeks back, he said to me, I'm no longer supporting Chiefs. You must buy me Pirates jerseys. So I bought him. So we must go to the stadium so that he comes back to Kaizer Chiefs.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
On the flag one, I started to be conscious of the love I have for the country when I went to Angola and I was working in Angola. But then when I became a current councillor in Protea Glen, then I started visiting schools and the ECD, what we used to call a crèche. But then I picked up, there are no flags there. And I asked the school principals in the schools that I visited to say, why don't you put up the flags and teach our kids about the importance of the flags?
considering that the flag of South Africa, we have this current flag on the basis of the blood that was shed, the life that was lost. You know, I'm reading a book by Winnie Mandela that says, part of me went with him. You know, that book touched me to a point where I realized that it is important for us to teach our children how we got the freedom that we have, and to some extent we are just misusing it, you know. But let the schools, it must be a standard. Let the flags be lifted up, let the flags fly high in each and every school, including the ECDs, because I told them you must have a flag and teach these kids at an early age, 2-3 years. They must know that they are South Africans and they will grow up loving South Africa. Thank you, Marimate. I'm going to join you in Durban on the 10th of May when Kaizer Chiefs lifts up that trophy.
Thank you for your call. Thank you. Tato, you are calling us from, is it Leuven in Belgium? Good morning.
Yeah. Morning, Clement. Morning, man. Great show as always. Yeah, I'm calling from Leuven in Belgium. We are loudly South African, eh? Yeah, we are loudly South African this side as well. We actually also had a marathon yesterday here in Leuven, from Brussels to Leuven. We literally also had our South African socks on. It was amazing. Literally every run, throughout the run, when we see the South African flag, it gave us so much energy. These people, we really, really love our country. All of us. It was nice running in Leuven.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing, Tato. Thank you for calling us all the way from Belgium. I'm not so far from you, from where I am now in Paris. Lubabalo, you are in Kukuletu. Good morning.
Yeah, how's it going that side?
It's going well, brother. Go ahead.
No. I just want to raise this point, right? You know, Moses Mabhida as a stadium has been hosting various finals, you know, since the 2010 World Cup. I think they've hosted 8 or 9. Now it's going to be the 9th final, cup final, and it's really, you know, concerning to me because of Cape Town was leading the race to host this. All of a sudden, Mabhida is hosting another final. They hosted the MTN Top 8 last year. They're hosting it again. You know, what's the criteria? You know, something is happening there in Durban.
Yeah, it is. I think it's going to be so fascinating. Are you coming, Lubaba?
No, definitely not. I'm very disappointed. I thought it was going to be in Cape Town. I was prepping my boy about this, and you know, I'm very disappointed at them going again to Durban. Especially that Cape Town has been proving itself when it comes to soccer, hosting tournaments, and now we're not having a final, you know, and it's a derby. And how many times they've been going there? I mean, for the past, you know, since all the, you know, I mean, if you look at the Nelson Mandela Bay, beautiful stadium, never hosting anything, even semi-finals they don't get, you know, Bloemfontein as well. I mean, it's not fair. We need to find out what's wrong. Why are we always going to Durban?
Yeah, and I do think that you need to diversify and go to other areas as well, because all these football fans are all over the country. So Lubabale, let's hope the next time they pick a place will be there in Cape Town. Mwaku, you are calling from Polokwane. You seem like a Kaizer Chiefs fan. Good morning.
Clement, that's an insult. I mean, Wanawe, I'm not a Kaizer Chiefs fan. I'm a Buccaneer for life.
Really?
I need $100. Clement, I've already made my booking. I made my booking last night. I'll be sleeping over on the 9th to depart on the 10th. I may extend to the 11th because the celebrations on the 10th will be out of this world. You know, we'll be saying goodbye to our coach. I don't think I'll be in a state where I'll be able to drive myself back home in Polokwane. No, I think I'll be extending it. So, I bought my ticket. I'm just waiting for the tickets to go on sale, and then it's a for away.
Yeah.
See, I started the cup three times in a row.
Three times in a row. Nedbank champions.
Just like the
We're about to keep it that way.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Mwaku in Polokwane, thank you so much, man, for your call. I'm really looking forward to the final, guys. I was at the Nedbank Cup final 2 years ago. I think it was at Loftus Stadium. Who were we playing? Sikukune. I think we were playing Sekhukhune, and we thrashed Sekhukhune. I couldn't go to the Nedbank Cup final last year because we were busy with elections. But this year, I want to go to Moses Mabhida Stadium. I want to see Pirates lift that cup again, because I really think we're going to do exactly that. It's 9:31.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
24 minutes before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line on 011-883-0702. That's the number you can dial if you want to weigh in on any of the conversation we're having this morning on the open line. You can also send us your WhatsApp voice notes on 072-702-1702. Let's start there.
Hi, Clement. Katu here. Look, man, South Africa is so beautiful. I love the nature about it, the nature reserves and the likes. So what I would do, I would do a family holiday, including my kids, and take them to Kruger. They learn Kruger from the Pafuri gate to your Malalani gate. So they know Kruger all corners, they know all the animals, so they can explain how big Kruger is. Comparing it to other countries, being it the big in the 9 countries in the world, they know that history, so it's so beautiful. They know that tourists come for Kruger National Park. So yeah, I do that. Love of the country.
Good morning, Clement. Congratulations on running the Paris Marathon. You're a champion. That's really an amazing feat. I really, really love my country, Clement. And every single time I travel, when we come back to this country of ours, I'm always so grateful for what we have. The joy that you have in the people laughing, people, being jovial, people being friendly. You don't get that in other countries. And you sometimes even a basic smile just in the street when you're traveling in these other countries. You don't see that. So South Africans are really, really special. And every single time you go out of the country, you just realize how blessed we are as South Africans. We might have our problems, but you know what? We've got our joy, we've got our happiness, and we've got our resilience, which really makes us proud to be South Africans. This is Kokeso from Joburg.
Sure, Clement. No, I love my country, and I try by all means that the shenanigans that the politicians are putting us through does not taint my view of my country, how I view my country. And so, yeah, I do have a flag. It's not huge. It's in my garage. It's got a stand, so I managed to hook it somehow. So every time I open my garage, the flag is there. It just reminds me that I'm a South African. But sure, Clement, there's so much that is happening. I mean, yeah. But anyway, we keep up hope. We keep on hoping that one day someone will come for us and redeem us from all these shackles. Thank you.
Good morning, Clement and the 702 family. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Listen here, Clement, my grandchild had a project back in grade 4. It was 2 years ago. It was a show and tell project, right? And then I told her, I said, listen here, my baby, everybody's going to make dolls and cars. I want you to be different. Let's make a South African flag. You present it in class and you explain the meaning of the colors, because not everybody knows the meaning of the colors. And then she said to me, Oma, I say, do that. Let's do that. And you know what, Clement, not even the teacher knew the meaning of the colors of the South African flag. Nice show. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you very much for that WhatsApp voice note. And I think, again, it re-emphasizes what we were saying earlier about the need to teach our children about the country that they live in, the country that they come from. They need to know about the history of this country, know about our anthem, know about our flag, and the significant meaning behind it. And if you've just joined us, we've been talking about how sometimes we loudly show that we are South African. I was referencing what I saw yesterday, which really touched me when we were doing the Paris Marathon. There were so many South Africans who were running with their South African flags, who were running, and their clothes, the sportswear they're wearing has got South African colors, it's got South African flags. I was running in my South African flag socks. So regardless of the nonsense that we still have to deal with, regardless of the attacks we're getting, the divisions, because politicians are trying to divide us, right? And I think that's the way they get their constituency, and that's the way they can appeal to a constituency sometimes. So there are some of them who just want us to be divided because it works for them. Regardless of all of that, at the core, many of us still love this country, and we have a way of showing it loudly in other aspects of our lives. It's 19 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
All right, so I want us to bring in Rebecca Davis now, who is with a Daily Maverick. She's a journalist with Daily Maverick. And then I'm going to go back to your calls on 011-883-0702. She's done a story about a number of members of parliament who have gone to visit Israel. And I think they were on a fact-finding mission. But surprisingly, they seem to only have gone to Israel. And they've come back now, some of them, to claim that to say that there's no evidence of apartheid there in the Middle East or in Israel. So Rebecca Davis has written the story, and I had so many questions. Like, first of all, I wanted to know who paid for the trip. And if it's Parliament who paid for the trip, then why would they only go to Israel if they wanted to get the context and understand what's happening in the Middle East? And maybe it's not Parliament who paid for the trip. If it was somebody else who paid for the trip, who is that person? And did these people go there as party, members or representing Parliament? So we've asked Rebecca Davis to come and join us, who is on the line to us now. Rebecca, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Pleasure to be here as always.
So what are you able to share with us about this trip that was taken by a number of members of Parliament? So maybe help the listeners understand, who haven't read your story, which of the members of Parliament were part of this trip, and were they there as members of Parliament, or were they there representing their own parties? And the big question, who paid for this trip?
So this trip came to light, Clement, because Brett Heron, who is a good MP, put out a statement about it on the basis of a Facebook post from the Patriotic Alliance MP, Ashley Sauls, who posted himself in Tel Aviv with another Patriotic Alliance MP and said they were there on this fact-finding mission. And the question Brett Heron posed was, well, the same ones that you had just have. What is this trip? Is it Parliament? Is it individual political parties? And again, who is paying for them? So I published a story on this, and then there was immediately a statement from the group which did organize it and paid for it. And that is a private group called the South African Friends of Israel Group, whose stated aim is to bring Christians, unite South African Christians with Israel. So I assume they do these tours fairly often. They brought at least 9 MPs on this trip, together with members of various faith communities, various faith leaders, on what they are calling a fact-finding mission. They brought MPs from the Democratic Alliance, Patriotic Alliance, and from the African Christian Democratic Party. If you want the names, the delegation included the DA's spokesperson on justice, Clement Manyathela, the DA's spokesperson on international relations, Emily Powell, and a bunch of other MPs, Catherine Christie, Bridget Masango, Liam Jacob, Bonginkosi Madikizela, Nicholas Myberg, who sits on the Joint Standing Committee for Intelligence, and they were joined by Ashley Sauls and Millicent Matopa from the Patriotic Alliance and Steve Swart from the ACDP. So a fairly substantial delegation across at least 3 political parties. There may have been more MPs. Those are the ones that we were able to identify. Because the thing that seems sort of impossible to miss here, Clement, is that there does seem to have been an attempt to sort of keep this a kind of secret mission, in that none of the other MPs appear to have posted about it or given any indication that they were in Israel, other than Ashley Sauls. And until we in Daily Maverick published an article on it, there had been no statement forthcoming from the group which organized it either.
And were they able to say anything to you? I imagine you reached out to some of these MPs. What did they say to you? And following their trip as well, because the publication in Israel seems to claim that these MPs found no evidence of apartheid, in Israel. What are the MPs themselves saying? What were they able to conclude on following this visit? And if they responded to any of the queries?
The MPs have said absolutely nothing, which is interesting in itself. So the South African Friends of Israel statement after the trip said, and I quote, "All delegates will confirm with South African media that there was no evidence of apartheid. To the contrary, Israel is a vibrant, progressive, multiracial, multi-ethnic society in which the rights of all citizens are protected and upheld by the rule of law." Now, that's really a very strong statement. And honestly, Clement, I have to believe that some of the MPs who went on the trip would not, in fact, agree with that statement, but they are now being used kind of in this political manner because this group is now saying, go journalists, you can ask them, they're going to tell you there's no apartheid in Israel and it is a country that fully, upholds all human rights. So I think the important thing to say here is that nothing about this is sort of illegal in any way. MPs, I imagine, often get invited on trips to countries, as journalists do, as you know, Clement. You and I have been on these international trips as well. The question is whether this is the correct time to do it in a situation where the DA and the Patriotic Alliance are in a government of national unity with the ANC government, which is in active litigation against the State of Israel in the International Court of Justice. You just have to imagine that there are DIRCO officials and ANC officials who are really tearing out their hair about this. Because it wasn't just a tourist trip or it had a political element. They met with the Israeli president, Isaac Herzog, which is a mainly ceremonial role, but it is a sign of like the kind of doors that were opening to them. They met with some governors. They met with high-ranking, apparently, Israeli foreign affairs officials. So it's not like this was a trip that could be described as politically neutral. And then there's the fact that in the statement put out afterwards, there is this very obvious propagandistic element where they say, they've been here, they've seen for themselves, nothing untoward is happening.
Do we know if they've visited Palestine during this trip, or they were given access to also speak to other people in Palestine so that by the time they conclude, it's more contextual and has considered both sides?
There's no indication that they were given access to any kind of, Palestinian dissidents, political prisoners, etc. In the statement, it does say that the delegation visited Judea and Samaria, which is a very telling statement in itself, because that is the kind of euphemism for the West Bank, which is used by sort of Israeli pro-settlers. So they say they did take them to the West Bank, but they call it Judea and Samaria, which is in itself a very loaded term. No indication otherwise that they were given, access to Palestinians who have been affected by the bombardment in Gaza or anything of that nature.
Interesting. Rebecca Davis, thank you so much for making time for us. She's a journalist with the Daily Maverick. I thought we should give you a quick update about this, because when I saw the story that she wrote, because I've been hearing murmurings over the last week or so about these members of parliament who have visited Israel, which is fine, right? As Rebecca says, there's obviously nothing wrong with what they've done here. Them going on this visit is not illegal. But there are questions you've got to ask yourself. If they were going there to represent parliament, and if they're really representing parliament, why would they only go to one side? And I would have asked the same question if they had only visited Palestine as well. But now, as you hear from Rebecca, this was played by South African Friends of Israel, which is also fine. What's interesting to me is that this organization now has indicated, as the Daily Maverick reported, that any of these 9 South African members of parliament who visited Israel on this fact-finding mission will now testify to the media that there was no evidence of apartheid, and to the contrary, Israel is a vibrant, progressive, multiracial and multi-ethnic society in which the rights of all citizens are protected and upheld by the rule of law. And yet, Rebecca Davis, as she was working on this story and tried to contact many of these MPs, many of them didn't really respond to her, or at least to testify, as this organization has claimed all of them will do once they've come back from Israel. So I hope you've got all the details you need around the story. Let me know your thoughts, though. You can give me a call on 011-883-0702. Alternatively, send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. 10 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
All right, it's 7 minutes now before 10 o'clock. Let's go to your calls and WhatsApps. Let's start with your calls. Is it Stephen calling us from Florida? Stephen, good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Stephen calling from Florida. I work as I'm an educator, and then I work with educators and my official in school. I'm very passionate about the South African flag that we have been talking about. What basically happens in the education trade too, there are educators in schools that have been trained from the district. We call them values in education. These teachers are taught how to teach the learners in collaboration also with the South African police. They have been invited to schools to teach our learners how to hoist the flag and how to respect the flag also. And they hoist the flag every morning before the school starts in the morning, and afternoon after school they also go back and respect the South African flag. So these kids, they sing the South African flag, and they are taught as and when the South African flag sung, they should sit up straight. Only the president can put his hand on the chest. Only the president. All of us, they know that their hands should be straight. They should not move. And they know the colors of the flag, as we know that flag represents the rainbow nation of South Africa. So our kids in our schools, we call them values in education. These teachers are responsible to teach these kids in our schools. So basically, I'm working with schools around Roodepoort, which is Johannesburg West District. So I just wanted to talk to the parents that your kids are being taught about the flag at their schools. That's
amazing. That's amazing. Stephen, that's great to hear, man. That's great to hear. Thank you so much for calling us. Walter, you're calling us from Edenville. You want to talk about Kaizer Chiefs. How did you know that they're going to win?
This is Walter Rautmann, the soccer coach. Black Leopards, Amazulu, Wheatbank Black Aces, Puna Sele. So I took 3 teams to the cup final, which one were bottom of the league against Kaizer Chiefs, Morocco Swallows, and I took Pirates out of the Pope Safe 1990 in a semi-final, where the referee was paid for Pirates to beat Amazulu. He played 13 minutes extra time, and they wanted to beat us. They wanted Pirates in the final, but I took Pirates out and I went to the final. So I know about these games, and the cup got a different law to the league. A cup all over the world, you see third division teams beating top division teams. And I watch Kaizer Chiefs, I watch Pirates, I watch Sundowns. Kaizer Chiefs are not so bad as they look like in the league, and they overdo to win the cup. And put your money on Kaizer Chiefs. And let me tell you something, Clemens. If you come near my house in Edenville, opposite are the taxi drivers and the Uber drivers. They're all bringing me presents this morning, money, wine, chocolates, because I told them Kaizer Chiefs is going to beat Pirates. So they're all happy. They're shouting, Usutu even, Usutu, the Zulu drivers coming. Because when I coached Amazulu, they called me, Usutu, King of the Zulus, when I beat Pirates in the semi-final. So they're all happy, and I told them, put your money on Amakosi. And put your money on Amakosi in the final again. I'll give you a good tip.
Okay, Walter, I don't know about that. And I respect your views about soccer because you have known and, observed this, been in the industry for so long. But let's wait and see. I'm putting my money on Pirates.
I'm sorry for you. Take an overdraft. but the bank won't take you. They chase you away.
Oh, God, yeah. Walter, in Edenville, let's talk again after the 10th of May. How about that? Thank you so much for your call, Walter, in Edenville. Let's wrap up with this WhatsApp voice note on 072 702 702.
Good morning, Clement, all the way from Paris. It's User, the Uber driver. I am a loud South African when I'm transporting my passengers, especially foreign nationals, because they talk more of the weak government that we have and everything. And I know that it's wrong of me to defend the wrongs, but I really can't allow people to belittle my country. I defend every small thing, and I also make it a point that I make them aware that they left their countries for South Africa because we are living in a better country than theirs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've got a call from Peace Mabe. She's the Deputy Minister of Arts and Culture. Deputy Minister, thank you for calling us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for taking my call. I wanted to make a contribution on the importance of the flag. It's a topic that really touched me because as the office, I visited the school one day and I had nothing to offer, but then I realized that why don't I engage young people on the issue of nationalism and patriotism, and we started engaging young people about the flag. And that really touched my heart to really see that young people do not know anything about the national symbols, about the flag. And as a result, we then adopted a program whereby if we have a program outside the province, the first thing that I need to do is to at least visit a school and promote the agenda of the flag.
That is so important, Deputy Minister, because as you say, most of the young people, when you ask, what does the blue stand for? How do you even hoist it? Some of them don't have that information. I did get a call earlier from one teacher in, I think, around the Edenville area who says there are some schools that are trying to focus on teaching the children more and more, but I think more work needs to be done.
It is important that schools must talk about this during assemblies. But as government as well, we have to really make it a priority that in all our programs we visit schools and we talk about this. Just to share a joke, in one school we went and we asked them, what does the black stand for? Then, black like me.
Oh no. Oh my goodness.
The school name, but the kid said, what does black stand for? Black stands for black like me.
Oh my goodness.
So then you could imagine, and those were high school learners who could not even tell, the colors of the flag. So we try, resources are limited, but we try to visit schools. We know it's not enough, but something has been done.
Yeah. Well, Deputy Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Peace Mabe, thank you so much for calling in and for bringing in your views as well. Thank you. It's just